Greta, thank you for taking the time to speak with me today. Aside from talking to media people who are going to ask you the same questions over and over and over again, how's your day going?
Very good, thank you. Yes, we had a very hot spell here in England last week, record temperatures, and now it's cool and grey again with a little drop of rain now and again. So it's lovely, much more familiar.
Glad to hear that. This heat wave in New York is driving everyone nuts. New York, England, we get the same temperatures. But anyway, Darby and Joan, another critically acclaimed project of yours. When did you actually film it?
Nearly a year ago. In fact, yeah, exactly a year ago, I was in quarantine in Brisbane. So I got to fly over there, it was just great because we had been, landlocked with lockdown for a year and a half by then. And the idea that it would ever be possible to travel again was looking so unlikely. And right. I've always been very itinerant by nature, half Italian, half Australian, half English. I was due for a bit of the Southern Hemisphere, so I felt very privileged. And yeah, we all had to do two weeks quarantine to get into Queensland. Even the actors coming up from Sydney had to do 2 weeks in a hotel.
Right. What you just mentioned about holding multiple passports, you also speak, if Wikipedia is correct, they say 4 languages. I'm going to guess you speak 5 languages.
No. They're exaggerating. Do you know, you can get people to go in and clean up your Wikipedia, and then within days, it's all wrong again. So no. I'd never pretend to speak more than 3 languages, but I do understand Spanish and I do understand a lot of German, and I have filmed in both of those languages.
Right.
At times, yeah.
Well, back to Darby and Joan here, playing a nurse. Is that something that you did a lot of research for in general, or do you just let the script dictate what it is that you do?
Well, I've got a lot of friends who are nurses. We've all had experiences with nurses, and what I did do, just to give myself just a little kind of technical step up, is I went and did a St. John's Ambulance course. One up for half a day, just so that I kind of had a little knowledge when it came to checking vitals for during a scene. I'd had some basic training from a professional, so that's about it really. Her nursiness doesn't come into it, except in those sort of instances where we always have a nurse on the set when filmmaking. So she was a great help in many occasions. I'd be calling in the nurse, normally the nurse doesn't have much to do. They might be there to hand out some vitamin B supplements for people with a bit of a hangover, but otherwise they don't have much to do. And so my nurses on this would often come center stage, be right up with the camera and the action, helping to direct the scene and choreograph our movements. So that was helpful.
I would imagine that normally the nurse doesn't have much to do, but in the COVID-19 era of filming, the nurse was like the second most important person on the set behind the director.
Well, actually, they had a new job that was often taken by people who would normally be in a different field on the film set, and they had COVID officers who were quite separate from the nurse. So that was usually a team of 2 or 3 people running around with testing kits and all of that very seriously, very regularly. Yeah, it's true.
Got it. So as I mentioned earlier, award nominated, prolific kind of a performer here, but going through your early credits and, in the decades since, a lot of work in the theatrical world, were you outright planning on being a theater person and accidentally fell into film and television? Are you one of those?
I am. That's exactly right. I dreamed of working in the theater from when I was 8 years old. My mother used to take me to the theater, and by the time I was 13, I wanted the complete works of Shakespeare as my Christmas present, and I studied it and became very knowledgeable about all of that. That's what I wanted to do. And in fact, I got offered film roles after I'd signed up with a model agent to help me pay my way through drama school. And through them, I got offered a couple of film breaks, and I didn't want to take them because I thought, until I've had a 3-year training at a British theatre school and can prove what I can do, I don't want to have any job just because I look right for the part. So I was an absolute snob. That, yeah.
Wow. So you were one of the few performers that it's coachable. Do you know what I mean by coachable? That you're willing to listen to other people to perfect your craft.
Yeah, I was back then. But then my mother was a dancer, a professional dancer. And when I was growing up, she ran a dance school out of our house in Sussex. And so we had, the pianist and the music every evening after school. It was for school kids, for girls. And so there was dance going on in the house every evening after school. And Mum instilled a sense of discipline with me, because of course, if you're training with ballet, it is all about discipline and putting in hard work. And so that was the ethics, really, that my preparation was based on. And I felt very disappointed and worried at first when I finished drama school and the film roles came in and theatre roles were hard to come by. And I felt that there was a sort of split. There was a kind of divide between theatre actors being taken seriously and a young film actress whose first breaks are based on looking photogenic. And I was very suspicious of all of that and tried my hardest to get the breaks in the theatre. But now when I talk to students and wannabe actors, I tell them, don't be like me. Don't get so wound up about being typecast, because actually it's getting the breaks that is the important thing. And I was very, very lucky. And I see that and understand and appreciate that more and more as time goes on, because I still get to do things now. I did establish a name for being a pretty one in my 20s. And then I did a lot of work in the theatre, which satisfied me and helped me flex my muscles. And now I feel even more prepared and ready for a range of roles.
Got it. So the best maybe yet to come. That's what I'm hearing.
Well, this one, Darby and Joan, was great fun and challenging, very challenging in the relentlessness of the schedule, but very liberating to play a character who is of a certain age. You know, now I'm in my 60s, and I could be my age, but be characterful and free and quite close to who I am, or who women of my age group who I know them to be. Sure. So a youthful spirit and an adventurous, courageous spirit that doesn't often appear in most writing for the older woman these days.
Well said. Well, my last question before I let you go, putting you on the spot here. Now, we all know Darby and Joan is the best show on Acorn TV within the AMC world. What's the second best show within the AMC universe or the Acorn TV universe? Do you have a recommendation?
Agatha Raisin, Vera, of course, everybody loves Vera. That's all I can think of right now.
Oh, no, that's a great number 2. And I appreciate that recommendation. But thank you for your time. Looking forward to seeing where you are next, whether it's another season of this show, whether...
I hope so. I really hope so. If people like it, we'll be going off in that camper van around Queensland again, seeing and discovering the most beautiful sights and having a lot of fun with Brian Brown.
Paltrocast.